3 weeks after signing the contract, Phoebe found herself standing in the unfinished lobby of what would become Seoul's most exclusive hotel. The space was massive, all marble and glass, with ceilings that soared 3 stories high. Even incomplete, it reeked of money and power. "What do you think?" Juno appeared beside her, his footsteps silent on the protected floors. He'd shed his usual suit jacket, sleeves rolled up to reveal surprisingly muscular forearms. There was something different about him here, in this space he was creating. More relaxed, more real. "I think it's going to be magnificent," Phoebe said honestly. Her designers I cataloged everything. The flow of the space, the natural light, the way the architecture seemed to embrace visitors rather than intimidate them. "The bones are perfect. We just need to dress them properly." Juno smiled at that. "Which is why you're here. Come on, I want to show you the staff areas." As they walked through the construction site, hard hats required, Phoebe became aware of the workers watching them. Some stared openly at her. She was used to that, being a tall black woman in Korea. But there was something else in their gazes now. Recognition, respect, maybe, or curiosity about the woman who'd been all over the news. "Does it bother you?" Juno asked, noticing her notice. "The attention? I'd be lying if I said it didn't," Phoebe admitted. "But I've been stared at my whole life. At least now it's for something I'm doing, not just for existing." They reached the staff area, locker rooms, break rooms, uniform storage. Juno pulled out a tablet and showed her the current plans. "We want the staff to feel valued," he explained. "These aren't just functional spaces. They need to be comfortable, even luxurious in their own right. Happy staff means happy guests." Phoebe nodded, her mind already spinning with ideas. The uniforms need to reflect that too. Not just generic hotel wear. Something that makes them feel powerful, important. Something they'd actually want to wear. "Exactly." Juno looked at her with approval. "I knew you'd understand." They spent the next 2 hours going over details, Phoebe sketching ideas while Juno made notes. There was something easy about working with him, she realized. He listened to her opinions, challenged her when he disagreed, but never dismissed her expertise. It was refreshing, professional, the complete opposite of Miho, who'd always treated her work as a cute hobby rather than a serious business. "Are you hungry?" Juno asked when they finally wrapped up. "There's a place nearby that makes incredible jjajangmyeon." Phoebe hesitated. This felt dangerously close to crossing a line from professional to personal. But her stomach growled, betraying her, and Juno laughed. "That's a yes. Come on, my treat." The restaurant was tiny, tucked into a basement in Itaewon. Nothing fancy, nothing that screamed rich Korean air. Just good food and local charm. They sat at a small table, and when the noodles arrived, glossy black sauce coating thick wheat noodles, Phoebe's mouth watered. "Fair warning," Juno said. "You're about to get sauce all over your face. It's unavoidable." He was right. The noodles were messy, delicious, and completely worth the indignity. Phoebe looked up to find Juno watching her with amusement, a napkin already extended. "You've got a little." He gestured to his own cheek. Phoebe took the napkin, laughing. "Very dignified. Exactly the image I want to project." "Sometimes it's good to let the image slip," Juno said softly. "Let people see you're human." Their eyes met across the table, and Phoebe felt something shift in the air between them. Dangerous territory, her mind warned. But her traitorous heart didn't seem to care. "Can I ask you something?" Phoebe said, breaking the moment. "Why did you really leak that story about Miho?" Juno was quiet for a long moment, twirling noodles on his chopsticks. "I told you, he needed to face consequences." But, Juno set down his chopsticks. "I was also angry, watching him with you, seeing him waste something good because he's too immature to recognize it when he has it. You deserved better than being someone's bet, someone's fetish experiment. And I couldn't stand by and watch him destroy you the way he's destroyed everything else he's touched. That's very noble of you." "It's not noble. It's selfish." Juno met her eyes. "Because every time I saw you two together, I kept thinking." His phone rang, shattering the moment. He glanced at it, and his expression hardened. "It's my father. I need to take this. Excuse me." He stepped outside, and Phoebe sat alone with her noodles and her racing thoughts. What had he been about to say? And more importantly, why did she want so badly to know? Through the window, she could see Juno on the phone, his body language tense. Whatever his father was saying, it wasn't making him happy. After a few minutes, he returned, his easy demeanor from earlier completely gone. "I'm sorry," he said, sitting back down. "Family business. Everything okay?" "Define okay." Juno's smile was bitter. "My father just informed me that he's putting Miho in charge of the hotel project. Says my brother needs a chance to rehabilitate his image through meaningful work." Phoebe's stomach dropped. "What does that mean for our contract?" "Your contract is ironclad. He can't touch that. But it means we'll be working together. You, me, and Miho." Juno's jaw tightened. "I tried to argue, but my father's word is final." "I can handle it," Phoebe said. Even though her mind was screaming, the last thing she wanted was to see Miho regularly, to have to be professional while working alongside the man who'd broken her trust so completely. "Are you sure?" Juno looked concerned. "I can try to restructure things so you're only dealing with me." "No." Phoebe straightened her spine. "I'm not going to hide or run away. If Miho can't handle being professional, that's his problem. I have a job to do, and I'm going to do it brilliantly." Juno studied her face, and something like admiration flickered in his eyes. "You're remarkable, you know that?" "I'm practical," Phoebe corrected, echoing what she'd once told his brother. "And I don't let any men, get in the way of my success." But later, alone in her apartment, Phoebe allowed herself a moment of panic. Working with Miho, seeing him regularly, pretending the past 6 months hadn't happened. She could do this. She had to do this. Because walking away now would be letting him win, letting him dictate her choices and her career. Besides, a small, vindictive part of her whispered, wouldn't it be satisfying to show him exactly what he'd lost? To let him watch while she thrived without him. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "I heard the news. I'm sorry you have to deal with this. If you need anything, I'm here. Juno." Phoebe stared at the message for a long moment, then saved his number. She didn't respond, wasn't sure what to say. But the fact that he'd reached out, that he'd thought of her comfort first, it meant something. She wasn't sure what yet, but it meant something. The first official meeting with both Kong brothers present was scheduled for the following Monday. Phoebe spent the weekend preparing, not just her designs and presentations, but herself. She chose her outfit with military precision. A custom pantsuit in cream silk that made her skin glow, paired with gold jewelry and her most expensive heels. Her hair was a long, sleek style that fell past her shoulders. She looked expensive, successful, untouchable. Armor, she thought as she examined herself in the mirror. All of it armor. The meeting was in Kong Corporation's main office, a gleaming tower in Gangnam. Phoebe had been here once before, when Miho had brought her to a company dinner. She'd felt out of place then, like an accessory he'd brought along. Now, walking through the lobby with her portfolio case and her head high, she felt like she belonged. The conference room was on the 45th floor, all windows and stunning views. Juno was already there, reviewing documents. He looked up when she entered, and his expression brightened. "Phoebe, you look..." He paused, seeming to reconsider whatever he'd been about to say. "Professional. Ready." "I am." She set down her case and began arranging her materials. "Where's?" "Right here." Miho's voice made her freeze for just a moment before she forced herself to turn around, smile in place. He stood in the doorway, and God, he was still beautiful. That same face that had made her heart race, that same presence that could command a room. But now when she looked at him, all she saw was the lie. "Phoebe," he said, and there was something raw in his voice. Mr. Kong." Her voice was ice. "Shall we begin? I have another meeting at 2. She watched him flinch at the formal address, at the coldness in her tone. Good. Let him feel a fraction of what he'd put her through. The meeting was torture. Phoebe presented her designs for the staff uniforms. Elegant, functional, with subtle nods to Korean traditional fashion modernized for the contemporary setting. Both brothers approved, though Miho barely spoke, just watching her with those dark eyes that had once made her melt. "The color palette works well with the interior design," Juno noted, flipping through her sketches. And I like how you've differentiated between departments while maintaining cohesion. That's the goal, Phoebe explained, falling into the comfortable rhythm of talking about her work. Each department should feel distinct but part of the larger whole. It creates pride in their specific role while emphasizing they're all part of the team. Brilliant, Juno murmured. It is, Miho said suddenly, speaking for the first time in 20 minutes. It's brilliant, but then, everything you do is brilliant. I always knew that. The room went silent. Juno shot his brother a warning look, but Miho ignored him, his gaze fixed on Phoebe. Miho, Juno said quietly. Not now. When then? Miho stood up, and there was something desperate in his movements. She won't answer my calls, won't reply to my messages. This is the first time I've seen her in weeks, and you want me to just sit here and pretend? Yes, Phoebe interrupted, her voice sharp. I want you to sit there and pretend to be professional, because that's what this is. A professional relationship. Nothing more. Phoebe, please, can we just talk? Alone? No. She began gathering her materials. We're done here for today. I'll send revised designs by Wednesday. You can route any questions through Mr. Kong. She looked at Juno as she said it, making it clear which Mr. Kong she meant. She was almost to the door when Miho grabbed her arm. Not hard, not threatening, but the touch still sent electricity through her. Anger and something else, something she refused to acknowledge. Let go of me, she said quietly. I love you. The words tumbled out of him. I know I don't deserve you. I know I fucked up worse than I've ever fucked up anything in my life, but I love you. Please, just let me try to make this right. Phoebe looked down at his hand on her arm, then up at his face. She saw genuine pain there, genuine regret, maybe even genuine love. But it wasn't enough. Could never be enough. You don't get to touch me anymore, she said softly. You lost that right when you made me a bet. She pulled away and walked out, her heels clicking on the marble floor. Behind her, she heard Juno's voice, sharp with anger. What the hell were you thinking? Phoebe didn't stay to hear Miho's answer. She made it to the elevator, to the lobby, to the street before her hands started shaking. She hailed a cab and gave the driver her address, and only then did she let herself feel it. The anger, the hurt, the complicated mess of emotions that seeing Miho stirred up. Her phone rang. Juno. I'm so sorry, he said immediately. That was completely inappropriate. If you want to back out of the contract, I'll understand. I'm not backing out, Phoebe interrupted. But I need Miho's involvement in this project to be minimal. Can you make that happen? Consider it done. He'll handle the business side. I'll handle the creative collaboration with you. You won't have to see him unless absolutely necessary. Thank you. Phoebe closed her eyes, letting relief wash over her. Are you okay? Juno's voice was gentle. Really? I will be, she said, and she meant it. I always am. That night, Phoebe worked late in her studio, losing herself in fabric and thread and creation. This was her therapy, her meditation. When her hands were busy, her mind could quiet. She was so absorbed that she didn't hear the knock at first. When it came again, louder, she glanced at the clock. 11 p.m. Who would? Through the peephole, she saw Miho. Every instinct screamed at her not to open the door. But curiosity and maybe something darker made her unlock it. You have 5 minutes, she said, not letting him inside. Miho looked terrible. His usually perfect hair was disheveled, his eyes red-rimmed. He was still in his work clothes, but they were rumpled, like he'd been pulling at them. I can't sleep, he said. I can't eat. All I do is think about you and how badly I destroyed us. Phoebe, his voice cracked. I would give anything to take it back. Anything to go back to that day and never make that stupid bet. Never treat you like you were anything less than the most important person in my life. But you did, Phoebe said. You made the bet. You treated me like an experiment. And now you have to live with that. I know I do. But please, just tell me. He looked up at her, and there were actual tears in his eyes. Tell me there's a chance. Someday. Any day. Tell me I haven't completely destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me. Phoebe felt something twist in her chest. This was what she'd wanted, wasn't it? to see him suffer, to see him regret. But now, faced with his genuine pain, she felt no satisfaction, just tired. I can't tell you that, she said quietly, because I don't know if there is a chance. What you did, it broke something in me, mijo. Something I'm not sure can be fixed. But not impossible? He grabbed onto the word like a lifeline. Not impossible to fix? I don't know. And that was the truth. She didn't know. Part of her wanted to slam the door in his face, to let him drown in his regret. But another part, a smaller, more foolish part, remembered the good times, remembered laughing with him, being held by him, feeling safe and loved even if it was a lie. I'll wait, Mijo said. However long it takes. I'll prove to you that I can be the man you thought I was. The man I want to be. For you. Don't wait for me, Phoebe said. Don't put your life on hold. That's not what I want. What do you want? She thought about it, really thought about it. I want to not hurt anymore. I want to build my business and be successful and not have my worth determined by whether someone loves me or not. She paused. I want to move on. The words hung between them, final as a death knell. Okay, Mijo said, his voice barely a whisper. Okay, I'll let you move on. But Phoebe, I'm not giving up on us. Even if you have. Especially if you have. He left then, and Phoebe closed the door, locked it and slid down to sit on the floor. Moving on. It sounded so simple, so clean. But how did you move on from someone who'd made you feel alive, even if it was built on lies? How did you let go of the possibility that maybe, just maybe, beneath all the betrayal, there had been something real? Her phone buzzed. A text from Amma. Girl, Mijo was just spotted crying outside your building by dispatch. The comments are going insane. You okay? Phoebe laughed. A sound with no humor in it. Even her heartbreak had become public entertainment. She pulled herself up, washed her face, and went back to her sewing machine. The uniform she was working on was coming together beautifully. Strong lines, elegant details, perfect construction. If only people were as easy to design as clothes. If only healing were as simple as choosing the right fabric. If only her heart would stop whispering that maybe, just maybe, some broken things were worth trying to fix. 2 months into the hotel project, Phoebe realized something was wrong. She'd been feeling off for weeks. Tired despite sleeping 9 hours a night, nauseous at random times, emotional in ways that weren't like her. She'd cried watching a commercial about puppies. For God's sake. Phoebe Mensa did not cry over commercials. Amma noticed first. They were at the boutique, going over the books, when Phoebe suddenly bolted for the bathroom. Girl, that's the 3rd time today, Amma said when Phoebe emerged, pale and shaky. You need to see a doctor. It's probably just stress, Phoebe said, but even she didn't believe it. Or, Amma's eyes widened. Phoebe, when was your last period? Phoebe froze. She counted back days, weeks. Her periods were usually irregular anyway, so she hadn't really noticed, but, oh no, she whispered. Oh no, 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 no. Amma was already grabbing her purse. Come on. Pharmacy. Now. 20 minutes later, Phoebe found herself staring at 3 positive pregnancy tests laid out on her bathroom counter. 3 pink lines that changed everything. Okay, Amma said, rubbing Phoebe's back as she sat on the edge of the tub. Okay, it's going to be okay. We'll figure this out. I'm pregnant with Mijo's baby, Phoebe said, the words feeling surreal even as she spoke them. The man who bet on dating me. The man who... She laughed, slightly hysterical. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. What do you want to do? Amma asked gently. Whatever you choose. I'm here. Phoebe closed her eyes. What did she want? She'd always wanted children someday. But not like this. Not with a man who'd betrayed her. Not in the middle of building her empire. Not when everything was so complicated. But as she sat there, hand drifting to her still flat stomach, she felt something shift inside her. A fierce, protective instinct that surprised her with its intensity. I'm keeping it, she heard herself say. I'm keeping the baby. Are you sure? No. Phoebe laughed, tears streaming down her face now. I'm not sure of anything, but I want this. Maybe I'm crazy, but I want this baby. Then we make it work. Amma said firmly. You, me, and this baby. We'll figure it out. I have to tell Miho. Amma's expression darkened. Do you, though? That man doesn't deserve. He deserves to know he's going to be a father, Phoebe interrupted. What he does with that information is up to him. But I'm not going to hide this. She called him that night, her heart pounding as the phone rang. Phoebe. He answered immediately, his voice hopeful and wary all at once. Is everything okay? We need to talk. In person. Can you come to my apartment? I'll be there in 20 minutes. He made it in 15. Phoebe opened the door to find him breathless, like he'd run the whole way. He'd clearly been home. He was in sweatpants and a t-shirt, his hair unstyled, looking more human than she'd seen him in months. What's wrong? He asked immediately. Are you okay? Is someone bothering you? Because if anyone, I'm pregnant. The words stopped him mid-sentence. He stared at her, mouth open, clearly trying to process what she just said. You're pregnant? Yes. With my baby? Obviously. Miho sat down heavily on her couch, his hands running through his hair. Holy shit. Holy shit. I'm going to be a father. Yes. Phoebe stayed standing, arms crossed. I wanted you to know. What you do with that information is your choice. But I'm keeping the baby, and I don't need anything from you. I'm perfectly capable of raising a child on my own. On your own. Miho looked up at her, and there was something fierce in his expression. Phoebe, this is my child too. Our child. You really think I'd just walk away? You walked away from me easily enough. The words hit him like a physical blow. She saw him flinch, saw genuine pain cross his face. I didn't want to walk away, he said quietly. You kicked me out. Rightfully so, but... He stood up, moving toward her slowly, like she was a wild animal he didn't want to spook. Phoebe, I know I have no right to ask anything of you. I know I destroyed your trust. But please let me be part of this. Let me be there for our baby. And for you. I don't need you to be there for me. But do you want me to be? The question hung between them. Phoebe wanted to say no, wanted to tell him she'd be fine alone. But the truth was more complicated. She was scared. Terrified, actually. And the idea of doing this completely alone, even with Amma's support. I don't know what I want, she admitted. I'm still trying to process this. I took the test 3 hours ago. Can I? Miho gestured to her stomach. Can I touch? Phoebe nodded, not trusting her voice. He stepped closer, and his hand was gentle as it settled on her abdomen, warm through the fabric of her dress. Hi, baby, he whispered. It's your dad. I know you can't hear me yet, but I'm here. I'm going to be here. Something in Phoebe's chest cracked watching him. This wasn't the smooth, calculating Miho who'd made a bet about her. This was someone raw and real and clearly overwhelmed. I want to marry you, he blurted out. Phoebe stepped back, breaking the contact. Absolutely not. Phoebe. No. Her voice was firm. I'm not marrying you because I'm pregnant. I'm not marrying you at all. We're not together, Miho. This doesn't change that. But we're having a baby together. That changes everything. It changes some things, Phoebe corrected. But not the fundamental fact that you betrayed my trust. A baby doesn't fix that. Miho looked like he wanted to argue, but something in her expression must have warned him off. Instead, he asked, What do you need? Tell me how I can help. I don't know yet, Phoebe said honestly. I need time to think, to plan, to figure out how this fits with my business and my life. Our business, Miho said. You're still working on the hotel project, right? With Juno. At the mention of his brother's name, something shifted in Miho's expression. Has Juno been taking care of you? Making sure you're comfortable? He's been professional, which is what I needed him to be, right? Professional. Miho's jaw tightened. Does he know? About the baby? No. You're the first person I've told besides Amma. She saw relief flash across his face, quickly hidden. When will you tell him? He needs to know, especially if you're working on the project. There might be safety concerns, things you can't do while pregnant. I'll tell him when I'm ready. Phoebe was getting tired now, the emotional roller coaster of the day catching up with her. Miho, you should go. I need rest. Okay. He moved to the door, then turned back. Phoebe? Thank you. For telling me. For keeping the baby. For giving me a chance to be a father. Even if I screwed up being your boyfriend. After he left, Phoebe sank onto her couch, hand on her stomach. A baby. She was going to have a baby. Miho's baby. The thought should terrify her, and it did. But there was also something else. Excitement, maybe. Or hope. She thought about her own mother, who'd raised her alone in Ghana before Phoebe's aunt had brought them to London. Her mother had been strong, fearless, determined to give her daughter a better life. Phoebe had inherited that strength, that determination. She could do this. She would do this. And if Miho wanted to be involved, well, they'd figure it out. Co-parenting didn't mean forgiving him. Didn't mean forgetting what he'd done. But maybe it meant giving their child a chance to know both parents. Maybe. The next morning, Phoebe woke to her phone ringing incessantly. She grabbed it groggily, expecting Miho or Amma. Instead, it was Juno. Have you seen the news? His voice was tight with barely controlled anger. What? No, I just woke up. Check dispatch. Now. With a sinking feeling, Phoebe opened the app. The headline made her blood run cold. Kang Miho gets designer ex-girlfriend pregnant. Sources say she's trying to trap him. There were photos, her leaving a pharmacy yesterday, Miho arriving at her building late last night. And worst of all, there were quotes from anonymous sources close to the family, suggesting Phoebe had gotten pregnant deliberately to secure her financial future. I didn't leak this, Miho's voice said, and Phoebe realized Juno had him on conference call. Phoebe, I swear to God, I didn't tell anyone except my parents, and I made them promise. Your parents, Phoebe said flatly, who probably told their friends, who told their friends. Jesus Christ. I'm going to release a statement, Juno said, shutting down the gold digger narrative. But Phoebe, you need to decide how you want to handle this publicly. I don't want to handle it publicly at all, Phoebe snapped. This is my private business. It stopped being private the moment Miho walked into your building, Juno said gently. You know how this works. We need to control the narrative before it controls us. He was right, and Phoebe hated it. She thought about all those comments she'd see. About her trying to trap a rich man, about getting pregnant to secure her future, about being exactly what those racist netizens had always said she was. Fine, she said, but I'm writing my own statement, and I'm not apologizing for anything. I wouldn't expect you to, Juno said, and there was something warm in his voice. For what it's worth, I'm sorry this happened. You deserved to have this remain private until you were ready to share. After the call ended, Phoebe spent an hour crafting her statement. When she was done, she sent it to both brothers for their feedback. Yes, I'm pregnant. Yes, Kang Miho is the father. No, this was not planned. And no, I'm not trapping anyone. I'm a successful businesswoman who doesn't need anyone's money. I'm keeping this baby because I want to, and I'm perfectly capable of raising a child on my own. Whether Miho chooses to be involved is his decision. This is a private matter, and I won't be making further comments. Thank you for respecting my privacy during this time. Perfect, Juno texted back. Strong, clear, puts the trolls in their place. Thank you for telling me, was all Miho sent. The statement went out that afternoon, and the response was mixed. Some people applauded her strength and independence. Others doubled down on the gold digger narrative. But Phoebe forced herself not to read the comments, not to engage. She had more important things to worry about now, like the tiny human growing inside her, like how she was going to tell her mother, like how she was going to co-parent with a man she didn't trust but couldn't quite bring herself to completely hate. That night, Phoebe sat in her studio, sketching new designs. But her mind kept wandering to the baby. Would it be a boy or a girl? Would it have her eyes or Miho's? Would it be as stubborn as she was, as charming as he could be? Her hand drifted to her stomach again, and she found herself smiling. Hi, baby, she whispered. It's your mum. Things are a bit complicated right now, but don't worry. I've got you. We're going to be just fine. And for the first time since seeing those positive tests, she actually believed it.
Hello besties, what would you do if you found yourself in Phoebe's shoes? Stay tuned for episode 3. Kindly like, subscribe and share.